Good morning. It is the 4th day of June. It is foggy, which means it's going to be hot and muggy. So let's get this out there now before the weather makes me miserable. I am your host with the most, the toxic gatekeeper, your grumpy guide to all things gaming, the OG GM with another OG GM perspective. I don't know what I'm talking about. So, for some reason, the initiative argument has been making the rounds in the magazines and the YouTubes and the bloggings and the how can we fix 5th edition initiative? How can we fix initiative? Is there a better way to do initiative? You know, it's a mechanic that's been around since the very start of the game. It takes its origins from the wargaming history of the game. There are billions of role-playing games that have addressed the issue of initiative in billions of ways, and people are always like, no, it doesn't really feel right. It doesn't really reflect real combat. Of course it doesn't. Real combat is a mess. Only in movies and video games and role-playing games do you get to break down fights into little bits. And the whole point is that hopefully everybody gets a chance to do something, and then you wash, rinse, and repeat. And sadly, most initiative systems break down to the fastest guy gets to react first. And is that the way real combat works? Maybe in one-on-one, but in group combat, who knows? I mean, it's a group. You ask any police officer or military man who's been in an extended group fight, and they're like, no, it's just a mess. Bullets are going everywhere. Things are bad. It's nothing, it's just a mess. Fights are a mess. So is there a way to fix it? I mean, there's definitely lots of different ways to do it other than the he who rolls highest goes first and he who rolls lowest goes last, and the person who rolls lowest is screwed. But are they really? We'll just segue that over here for a sec and come back to that later. So what are some other ways to do it besides he who gets highest goes first? You could DM goes first and then players react. Players go first and then DM reacts. You start at one end of the table, go around to the other end of the table, and then the next fight you reverse that. DM just randomly picks people. I mean, ladies first, men first, kids under the age of 12 first, as long as everybody gets a turn and gets a chance to interact with the combat in the situation, and Joe is not yelling over Susan, and Andrew is not just spewing out foul language and just trying to say, hey, look at me, I know I didn't roll the highest, but if I yell a little louder, she'll pay more attention to me. Or, Susan's like, well, the DM likes me best, so if I just flash a little, cleavage, he'll let me do whatever I want, and I don't have to follow initiative. No, as long as everybody gets a fucking turn in the fight and gets that moment to be a hero and shine and whatever, then I don't really know if there's a better way to do it. Certainly you cannot have the, everybody just go at once and do whatever they want mentality that seems to be rolling around. Just this mess of everybody yelling and screaming at the DM, and everybody trying to get the DM's attention, and each person's trying to go, look at me, my combat's the best combat, and I rolled the bestest number, and I did the bestest damage, so I'm the bestest. That's not a good way for it to work. At least that's not my perspective. So everybody should get a chance. Now, is it unfair that the person who rolls highest, right, is the person who goes first? Probably. And there are probably, like I said, ways to better do it, But as long as everybody gets a chance and it's relatively a fair chance, then sure, there are other ways to do it. Now, one way would be to sort of let the players do whatever they want and put a pin on it, so that instead of letting the players do whatever they want, let the players have like 2 minutes to come up with a plan. and then you start the fight. And then you give everybody 15 seconds to have their part of the plan take place, and then the scene reacts to what they did. I go down the stairs. Okay, well, she's going down the stairs. I'm gonna slide underneath the table and come up behind the monster. Think of it like Leverage, where they you see each scene and how every person interacted to set up the dominoes to fall, so the plan plays out the way they wanted it to. But you make sure that there's there's time limits. You could do this with regular initiative too. Give everybody, okay, you're going into a fight. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to come up with your battle plan. Then I'm going to start the fight, and I'm only going to give each of you, no matter what version of initiative we're using, so much time. If you sit around and dithering and don't know what your character does and don't know how your spells work, that's not my problem. I've given you 2 minutes to set up the fight. I give you time before, during, and after the game to learn how your character works and to ask questions and to read the fucking book. So if a fight breaks out and you don't know what your warlock does, or you don't know how to use your paladin smites, it's not on me. I'll give each one of you 30 seconds, an egg timer. When the sand runs out, I'm moving on to the next person. So no dithering. Combat should be quick. It should be dynamic. Everybody should get a chance. So really, I don't know why there's an argument about initiative if you can't offer a better way to herd the cats at your table. Because just letting everybody do what they want and whoever yells the loudest gets my attention, or whoever I like the most gets my attention, is not a way for the game to work on any level, no matter who the players are and who the GM is. Now, in regards to the person going the slowest, and a lot of players thinking, well, I suck because I rolled a 3 on my initiative. First, anytime you get to roll a dice in the game is a good time. And there are no bad numbers. Even a 1, even a fumble in whatever system you're using still means something happens. Not necessarily in your favor, but every time you roll the dice, something is happening. Otherwise, there's no point to roll the dice. So there's no bad numbers. Some numbers get you better results. Sure, a 20 is going to get you a better result than a 7, but there's still always a result. And the guy who goes at the end of combat, before the next round cycles through, has a better chance to change the odds because he's had, 10 seconds to watch the fight play out, see how people are placing themselves, and he knows, well, the next whatever's going to start, I have a chance to control the battlefield. I can move this here, I can set that over there, I can put this here, I can set the wheels in motion so that when the next round comes around, suddenly there's a wall there, suddenly that table's moved, suddenly Bill's been healed. Sometimes it's best to go later in the fight than it is earlier because you can react to everything that has happened. So I don't know why the initiative is broken and we need to fix it argument has begun. I don't know how it began. I don't know why so many people are responding to it, but I guess after sitting on our asses for 3 months, we're willing to start an argument about any subject, about anything, and we're willing to take apart any mechanic of the game and go, I think I have a better idea. But really, I don't know if there is a better way to do initiative. I mean, as long as everybody gets a turn, whatever works for each group and whichever works for each DM is probably the best for that group. So even if it's just, okay, it's your turn. All right, it's your turn. Or it's my turn. Or it's your turn. Or it's your turn. Okay, it's my turn. I mean, I don't know. Just roll a spinner. And that person goes. As long as everybody goes, and as long as that person who's going doesn't waste 5 minutes going, oh, I forgot what my spell does. Hold on, I gotta look it up on my thing because I'm too lazy to actually write it down. I gotta, oh, wait, what does my attack do? Oh, I forgot. I got an extra D6 and I didn't add that in. Can I add that in now? It's, that's why you gotta have the, give them time to prepare, and then once the scene starts, that's it. You had your time to prepare. You should know what your spells do. You should know what your attacks do. You should know what your thing does. If you don't, that's not on me. That's on you for not taking the 5 seconds to learn what form sandwich actually does. At least that's my opinion, and we know by now I have no fucking clue what I'm talking about. But I don't know. Does initiative need to be fixed? Is there a better way? Probably. As long as everybody gets a turn, whatever works best for you. I'll talk to you losers later.